Hello everyone, I'm Tim from Tim's PC and I build custom PCs to suit anyone's needs or budget. I also live stream my builds and repairs for transparency and educational purposes. So if you would like to get an awesome new PC and you'd like to see it get put together live, send me a message today. Alright, so tonight we have a special Halloween edition of the Tim's PC live builds that we do here. So Christine has suggested that we have some nice background music, some spooky background music.
Indeed.
So I'll let,
Check it out
if it doesn't sound good or it's hard to hear me or understand, just let me know and we can just turn it off. It's just a thought.
Mick says Timbo.
Hey Mick, how you going?
So James says Halloween, mate. Mick says I like it.
Yeah, a bit
loud,
spooky.
is it?
It's not too loud or anything. You can just sort of hear it subtly in the background.
Mark says haha, love it.
She found a long stream of music that can be used in live streams, so it won't have any copyright infringements or anything. Hey everyone, how you going? Good to have you here. So tonight we're going to be building a white PC, another white one in the Cooler Master TD500 mesh case. So we've done a couple in this case before. It's a really nice case. Pretty much when it comes to white cases, it's probably like the second best looking option next to the Leon Lee one. So if you're not a fan of the Leon Lee one, this is a really good one to get.
Dylan says, hey Timmy, a little cutie. Mick says, did you get the Timbo?
Timbu. Oh, there we go.
See
Hey, I didn't see
just
that.
saw it as Timbo.
Ah, yep, there we go. Thanks for pointing that out, Mick. That would have gone right over our heads.
Matthew says, hi mate. Jared says, how you doing?
Hey Jared, how you going? Hey Matt, how you going? Alrighty, so let's go through the components here tonight. So we've got a 10700f here. We've got the ASRock Z590 Steel Legend, 16 gigabytes of Tron Z Neo memory. We've got a 500 gigabyte NVMe SSD here. Do we have a hard drive with this one? Let me check that one out. Yes, we do. Could you grab me a hard drive?
What size?
A 1 terabyte one from downstairs.
Bucket says he's
Hey Bucket, how you going, man? So that's
Halloween.
me and Tim here in the comments. We know each other. We're friends from well before Tim's PC. So Bucket is an old schoolyard nickname. So if people are wondering why I'm calling this guy Bucket. Yeah, so we do have a 1 terabyte hard drive to go with this. I just noticed that with that SSD. We've got a RTX 3060ti here. We have this Intel Cnbi Wi-Fi kit. So what this is just the little Cnbi Wi-Fi card, because we've got a Cnbi slot on this motherboard. So essentially by getting this kit and installing it on this motherboard, this saved the customer $60 and adds a little bit more complexity for me, but I don't mind doing it. We've also got a couple of Rgb Cable Extenders for our graphics card and for our motherboard. We've got a Cooler Master CX 650 watt 80 plus bronze power supply in white. It's also got the white cables as well, so everything's going to be white. The back of the case here will be white where the power supply is. And we've got a Thermaltake TH360 ARGB cooler. So it's going to be a really nice one here tonight. So I'm pretty keen to get this one started. Unfortunately, Laura, the customer, hasn't read back to our message, so I don't know if she knows we're live yet. So what was the cost of this build? This was like low to mid threes off the top of my head. Here we go. A WD 1 terabyte 7200 RPM hard drive. Sweet as. Well, let's get going. Spooky as.
I like this stream. It's pretty good.
What's so spooky about this box? I don't know. I guess it's like kind of white, so it's like the ghost box. We call this the Ghost Edition PC because it's white. Unfortunately, we can't make like the lights black, but maybe we can set all the lights to like orange and green or something like that. What do you reckon? With the... Oh, okay, yeah, so the F in Intel CPU names, it's basically Intel make two types of CPUs. Ones with a K or no letter, and ones with an F. And what it means is the K means it's their top tier CPUs. It's out of all of the i5s, i7s, i9s, the ones with the K are the best performing ones, and they're all tuned higher from factory versus the non-K one. The F, any of the Intel CPUs that ended in F, they are the CPUs without a integrated GPU. So if it has an F, it doesn't have the integrated GPU. That's why it's cheaper. It's not because it's less quality than the other one or anything like that. It just doesn't have that integrated GPU. So basically you'll see me use them in a lot of builds where we're adding a discrete GPU, because in most use cases it just doesn't make sense to pay for a GPU on the CPU that we're never going to use. So there are some exceptions when it comes to price with like 5600G on the Ryzen side of things. That's because right now it's priced $100 less than 5600X and provides 90% of the performance. So what's going on?
Makes sense. You wearing a black veil because...
Yes, she is. You should come over here so people can see you. Yeah, so in general, when you're shopping for a CPU, if it's on the Intel side of things, look for one with the F. And if you want the absolute top tier performance and stuff like that, unlocked for overclocking and all that, get the K. Because you know there's different numbers of i5s and i9s. They've got different, like the number part can be different. So the first two numbers are the generation. So 10, 11, and the upcoming 12, for example. Then the other one is their like series number. So when Intel makes i5s and i7s and i9s, they don't make like 10 different sorts of them like what you see for sale. All they do is make ones that are the F ones and ones that are the non-F ones. And then basically, because making silicon chips is an imperfect process, once they make a heap of them, they go and test them. And then out of these tests, they get ranked as to how good they are. And the best become the Ks, and they're clocked higher and they can be overclocked and all that kind of thing. They're for enthusiasts, and then the other ones are for everyone else, basically. So, do you get any of the 12th gen chips yet? No, but next week, man, when they launch on launch day, I'm going to be live reviewing the 12700. Like the 12700K and the 12600K, which is the i5 and i7 on launch day. So I'll be down picking these up, plus various new motherboards and stuff to have a play with on launch day. So all the big channels that do this, all these tech reviews and stuff like that, they're going to cover 12900K, the i9, on launch day. That's going to take up pretty much all of the airtime. It's all going to be about that. But not everyone's going to buy an i9. A lot of people are going to buy 12600K and 12700K. So I'm going to try, because I'm smaller, I'm going to try to be the first with those two SKUs. So all right. Don't think there's anything else we need out of the box here. There's just some stickers and the manual and all that. What's that?
So you want to go faster speakers?
Oh, I don't think so.
I do.
Alrighty, so let's have a look at this motherboard. Okay, so as Rob would like to do, they package their boards with foam. So, let's go around the board here and talk about the features on this board. So starting up the top here, we have two 8-pin CPU power connectors. So absolutely no shortage of CPU power here. Two 8-pin connectors is extreme. That's normally like what you see on Threadripper and stuff. We've got really good power delivery here, nice direct touch heat sinks on our MOSFET VRM. Obviously our LGA 1200 socket here. We've got dual channel memory, so 4 slots, 2 channels. We have a fan header up here, a 5 volt and 12 volt RGB header. We have a 24 pin ATX power for our motherboard, that's the standard. We have a USB Type-C front panel connection plus a USB 3 front panel connection. We've got 4 horizontally orientated SATA ports down there. We've got a fan header here, another fan header there, 2 vertically orientated SATA ports, and what have we got down here? I can't quite see into that heat shield. We have the trusted platform module header. We have the diagnostic speaker header. We have the front panel connection header for our power, reset, and case lights. We have 2 more fan headers. We have these 2 little pins up here, which are the clear CMOS pins. Then we have our 2 USB 2.0s. We have another USB 3.0 down the bottom there. 2 more RGB headers, a 12 volt and a 5 volt. And we've got a Sony Philips digital interface header there if you have a device that required it. We also have a audio header here for our speaker and microphone jack on the front of the case. And down this part of the motherboard here is all of our audio hardware. These little gold capacitors here are the audio capacitors. And then around the back here for our rear I/O, obviously we've got our audio there plus the optical audio out, aka Sony Philips digital interface. We have 2.5 gigabit Ethernet, is that? It doesn't say, so it might just be single, which is fine in Australia. We have 2 USB 2.0s there, sorry 3.0s there, 2 USB 3.2s, one's a Type-C. We have HDMI and DisplayPort, neither of them will be active on this build, sorry these 2. We have these 2 for our Wi-Fi, so what's going to have to happen here, we do remove it unbolts from the bottom, sorry. We remove this panel and screw in our Wi-Fi antennas to these little holes here. But we'll get to that when we prep the board. And that's, we've got a couple of USB 2s, sorry the music's distracting me here. A couple of USB 2s and a PS2 port there on the back. And then it's just the stuff in the middle. We've got a sneaky fan header here and another sneaky fan header here. So no shortage of fan headers on this board. Then we have our PCIe X16 slot, sorry, point to the right thing. We've got this one down here which is an X4 slot that is PCIe X16 length. And we've also got 3 X1 slots here as well. Then we've got 3 M2 slots, so it looks like this top one is Gen 4, this one here is probably Gen 4 as well. Then there's a standard Gen 3 one here, and this one here, this little short one, this is where our Cnbi Wi-Fi module sticks in. So that is all the main features here of this motherboard. So it's a solid board, it's got a lot of white on it, and that's why we've gone with it here today. So being a Z series chipset, it is the top Intel chipset for motherboards. So it's the one that you would definitely make sure that you would pair it with if you have a K series CPU. Doesn't mean you can't just put any CPU on it. Any CPU is going to go better in a Z590 or a Z series chipset from Intel. And yeah, they have 2 versions of this board, one with the pre-installed Wi-Fi module and one without. and it was going to cost an extra $100 to get the same board with this module pre-installed. And I'm like, no, I can just get one for $40, man. It's going to take like 5 minutes to install. Why is this a problem? So since we're talking about it, let's just start with it now. It's something really simple to install. So in the kit, we get our mounting hardware. You probably can't even see the card, but it is in there. There's a little tiny card. And so if you've bought a Wi-Fi card for your computer, one that maybe plugs into the PCIe slot or something like that, this is still what's inside that thing. This is what Wi-Fi looks like in computers. Whether you've got a laptop, desktop, or anything like that. This is a little tiny chip. This is what does all the magic. So this isn't some weird thing that we're just using for this board. It's just weird that has just the slot for it. Most of the time they integrate it and hide it behind the I/O shield, so no consumers don't even know that it's there. So yeah, it's the same as if you've got integrated Wi-Fi on your motherboard. So it's given me this bracket here, but I don't think we'll use that bracket. I think we'll actually go to the effort of swapping this over so that it's on the motherboard. Since we've got those two holes for it, and this is an ASRock board, so I would
feed it through the thing does it have holes for the
yeah, the rear I/O comes off. You can take that panel off, and yeah, you don't have to feed anything through. I just have to unscrew these. I like that the antennas come pre-attached to the card there, because they're really, really tiny and they're really hard to sort of put on. I have actually broken them before. Not the card, the antennas, trying to put it onto the card. So it is a little bit delicate. I guess that's why they're offering them slightly cheaper at retail. So we just need to remove this back panel here for the rear I/O. Does that come out? What am I not seeing?
Is it like hooked onto something? Peel that sticky off so you can see properly.
Yeah, there's just a little tooth that it was getting caught on. Just have to push it. Alrighty. So now we've got access to the back of the motherboard here. Put the board back now. And we can now go ahead . Yeah.
So when you say low to mid 3K cost for builds, does that include labour costs?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the total cost. I'm really bad at remembering like exact dollar figures for builds, because I do like today I've probably done like 30 or 40 quotes for PCs. So as you can imagine, after doing 30, 40 of these different numbers, you just can't remember things. I've got it, the quote, so the quote, I've got it, I've got the quoted price here was $34.90. That's what I'm looking at the conversation with the customer. That was the price quoted without looking up the invoice. So plug in our Cnbi Wi-Fi card to the board, put a screw down. So that is bolted in there. Yeah.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, come up all right. Yeah, it's not too expensive, like for what it is. Okay, so now that we've got the antennas on here, jeez, there we go. I was like really tight. I'm like, am I gonna have to like spin these around? Alright, so they're through. Then we've just got a washer. Oh. I don't drop it. Tighten that up.
So the rest of that wire is just going to be shoved in the back of the...
Yeah, that can just get stashed away there. It's not hurting anything. They just give you that extra length just in case you need it for whatever reason. It's better than it being too short. Trust me, I bought a heap of antennas that had too short cabling on it.
I remember.
That was really shit.
You waited ages for those to come in the mail.
Yeah. There we go. So now our I/O has the Wi-Fi antennas. And we can just stash that excess cable away behind the I/O shield. That'll be fine.
He's not around for the twist ties. What are you doing?
Oh, the part of the cable was just sticking up really
Oh.
annoyingly through that gap. So I was just fixing that up. Alright.
Ah, it's still twisted.
And so then we just screw our I/O shield back on the back. And we are all good to go. So a little bit more effort to install these. Probably not recommended for your first time PC builder, but good, worth $60 saving, in my opinion.
This. I swear to God, there's sticky on that. Oh no, that's one of those like leather
Yeah, it's a bit of
things.
leather.
That's
Yeah.
kind of weird.
Alrighty, so we'll put in this NVMe drive. We'll put it in down below the graphics card so it's concealed, and then we have the other slots available, which will be easily accessible without taking the graphics card out. go. And we'll get our memory on the board. So we're putting in 2 sticks so we can upgrade our memory to 32 gigabytes. Just buy another kit of the same memory. I'm so glad we're past the days where, like, most people, you probably don't know about this. Maybe someone like Nick probably remembers stuff like this. You used to have to buy memory. You couldn't just like get 4 of the same sticks. No. You have to buy special sticks that are programmed to work in sets of 2 or sets of 4. Yeah. So,
What?
if you wanted to use 4, you'd have to buy an actual kit of 4. You couldn't just use 2 kits of 2 of the same memory.
Oh, I see.
You had to actually go to that extra effort to buy
Yeah.
a special kit.
Oh,
So annoying.
that's a bit shit.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's get the CPU on the board. So here's our i7 10700K. Sorry, not 10700. Sorry, 10700F. Sorry, we were talking about K chips earlier and stuff. Well, it's sort of.
It's getting confused now.
Yeah, but see, it's sort of prudent to mention what K is if someone asks what F is, because it can be confusing. Because then you can have KF, and then yeah,
Yeah, it still confuses me.
it's relatively simple for what they're trying to designate.
I guess, but it's still confusing.
Anything with F, no onboard graphics. Anything without F, onboard graphics. That's all you gotta think.
So what's the difference between the ones without K and is there ones? Yeah, there is.
Yeah, ones without K are just the normal ones. Think of it like this, right? There's i5 400s. So I'm explaining this to my wife, but other people probably like this as well. So there's i5 400s. So there was the 10400F. Then there was the i5 500s, like the 10500F. And then there's like the 10600s. So the 10600s are the top SKUs. So they're the ones that have K on them. So they ranked all their i5s. 400s, 500s, 600s. The best 600s became K. The 500s are the 500s. They're better than the 400s, and then the 400s are just the standard ones. And they do this for the other ones as well, but they usually don't do as many numbers. They do a lot of variants of the i5s. Probably because they make so many of them or something. Alright, and so we've got a Intel stock cooler here that we won't be using. So let's put that there with our pile. So our board is all prepped and ready to go here. We've got our CPU, got our memory, we've got our Cnbi Wi-Fi module, and we've got our SSD. So we can turn our attention now to the cooler. So our Thermaltake TH360 Rgb cooler.
Do you have appearances? This one's Christian.
Yeah, sure.
Should be glad you're not outside tonight. I'm just being very stupid.
People aren't, they're not stupid, they're psychotic. That's what they are.
Especially black cats.
Yeah.
It's really unfortunate. So who doesn't want a black panther in their house?
you want to keep superstitious and like theistic people away from your house, get a black cat. They won't want to go anywhere near it because of like luck or spirits or demons or something, you know. Okay, so we'll have to prep up a Intel 1200 bracket. So this is the generic bracket here from Thermaltake. So we get this whole bag of nonsense, as I like to call it. That's something I call things from IKEA. I'm like, oh, okay, let's open up this big box of nonsense. It's like all these bags of all this random shit. Okay, so that's for our case. And that's for the rad. And we get a splitter. I don't think we're gonna need the splitter. I think we've got shitloads of fan ports and stuff on here. So we've got these bolts. They fit through in one direction only. And you just put these little washers down. And that just isolates. Oh, hang on. Huh, I'm using the AMD holes. So for the Intel, we need to use this middle hole.
How many PCIe cables and CPU cables do you need?
If you've got like 2 CPU cables and 2 PCIe cables, that'd be good. Because we do have the 8 pins there. We don't need to use 8 pins. Yeah, so just because the motherboard has like the 12 pins or 8 pins of CPU power doesn't necessarily mean you have to use that amount. Minimum, sorry, 8 is the standard and 4 is the minimum. But in general, you shouldn't use less than 8. Yeah.
John says get
Hey John, how you going?
Did I just say y'all?
No, I thought you said John.
No, I don't know if I said all of y'all.
Oh, who knows?
Not American.
No, but by 2050 we're all going to be the same culture anyway, because of cultural merging due to the global. Let me start that again. We're all going to be the same. We're all going to be the same culture because of an emerging global culture that is a result of the internet, primarily.
Yeah.
So basically, whoever owns the internet owns the culture these days. It's not about localized TV stations and stuff like that anymore, because, I mean, you're all watching me here on Facebook, not on TV. So it just goes to show things are changing from what the paradigm of the last 50 years. And, you know, with the global nature of the internet, it's a case of, yeah, there's a global culture emerging. And And so some might see it as Americanization, but it won't be Americanization because also Americans are being influenced by global culture as well. So they're changing as well. It's just about how much influence that group of people have over people. So how many people watch them. So if the whole world spends lots of time watching American streamers and content creators, it's going to have an impact on global culture more. They'll have more influence.
My friend from work,
Yeah.
her son, because he watches so much YouTube. Yeah, they're Indian. He sounds like an American child.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's exactly what's going to happen.
And she's like, "You're not American." He's like, "They sound cool." He's like, "That's why he's like starting to talk like them."
Well,
But
this is exactly
he's 5.
This
so,
is exactly what's going to happen. This is exactly what's going to happen. This is not. I mean, I remember thinking about this like as a kid. As soon as like the internet started becoming a thing and we started communicating with like people overseas and stuff, I was like, well, things are going to change in a few years. We're not just going to be Australians anymore. We're not going to be Americans anymore. We're going to be part of this global culture, which is going to change things, eh? Hopefully, like, you know, less racism and less xenophobia and more just people just being cool.
How many SATAs do you want?
I think we only need one, but let's plug in 2.
For now?
Yeah, let's just plug in 2, just so she has the extra SATAs. I mean, if you bought a PC off me and I haven't put SATAs in for whatever reason, you can just let me know and I'll send you a packet of SATAs for free. Just pay for shipping.
So,
Yeah.
James says he
Hey James,
yeah.
good to have you with us. So always remember to remove that bit of sticky on the bottom of the plate. Stuff's a bit sticky, eh? There we go.
It's pretty heavy now.
Alrighty, I've got a crap power supply and everything. Look at that.
So,
Yeah.
John says they need to watch some of my streams that will fuck up their culture.
Well, that's exactly that's what will happen. Yeah, as they watch more international content, they'll become more influenced by that as well. We can't. There's no crystal ball as to saying what's going to be popular and what's going to be normalized in 10 years. But we do know that as more different people interact with each other, that will influence every one of those people.
Even this one.
Yes, that's the addressable cable for the power supply, so we can change the color of the light.
Where does that go in? On the RGB in?
Yeah. So there should be two cables with that, babe.
Yes. Another small.
One will be like a conversion to a generic 3-pin, and one will be like for the Corsair 4-pin. And so obviously we want the generic 3-pin for this because we haven't paid the Corsair tax for Corsair fans. Oh man, if you're gonna spend more money on fans, you get the Corsair fans. Don't spend extra money on like Leon Lee fans. They don't have good software. Until they fix their software and can actually make their fans do the sort of shit that Corsair fans can do, I can't recommend. I can't recommend them to people.
But the Corsair software is so much better.
Well, let me just explain why you don't see me recommend like Lian Li SL fans. Because for $135 you can get a 3-pack of Corsair QL fans. Corsair QL fans not only have the far superior Corsair IQ software to control them, they have 4 independent zones that can be set to do their own thing independent of each other. Inner back, inner front, outer back, outer front. So like on either side of the fan, 4 zones. And in addition to that, within those 4 zones, each individual LED is addressable. Okay? You can actually set every LED to a different color if you wanted to. You'd sit there and key that into their software. Another thing you can do with Corsair software is you can layer effects. So you could have your favorite colors, and then you could have a rainbow raindrop effect that goes through them.
Let me turn the
Like Christine currently has,
the center is pink and the outer ring is blue.
Yeah. And we could also layer effects on top of those colors. So we could add a raindrop effect, and we could put rainbow raindrops coming through it at random times. So it'll still sort of look like that color, but it will flicker whatever you want. Completely customizable. Spit it out. So our radiator will be mounted like this, and so our fans, we need to make sure that the cables are coming out the back.
John says I had a proud moment yesterday. I installed 3 fans and got the RGB lights to work. Not bad for a dumb shit like me.
No, it's not too hard really. No, it's really not. The main thing that like people stuff up on with RGB is mainly realizing that there's like 2 separate power lines there, and like even though your fans are plugged in, that other cable that actually has to be plugged in as well. Like they just sort of like, oh, the fans, yep, they're like, this is the connector I know, so I'm going to plug this one in and I'm just going to assume that's all I need. Obviously that other connector, that must be for like Apple or something. But yeah. Usually if you know that you've got to hook up both cables, you shouldn't go wrong. But yeah, unfortunately not everyone realizes that, and it's not their fault. But then on the flip side, I'm like, but why would you even try to build a PC if you didn't know like the basics? So obviously we'll have these in the exhaust position, because ideally you want nice cool air flowing into the case, and then you want the heat from the radiator being exhausted from the case. If you have them drawing in, then the CPU's getting cooled down by the radiator, and then the heat is being expelled back into the case, which then heats things up further. It doesn't come all the way out.
Yeah, I know. I think I was doing it the wrong way.
It's the wrong thing for it, babe. It's not the right size.
the other one out.
They're not
I was
the
probably
right.
doing it the wrong way. Just stop yelling at me. I was trying to help.
Yeah, well, I thought you were gonna break something.
I wasn't going. Now you sound like Paul. Shut up.
I did that on purpose.
Do you want me to smack you?
I've pissed her off now.
Yeah, you kind of did. Oh, that. No, don't say that. That really rubbed me the wrong way, eh? Fuck you. I'm not gonna break it.
Struck a nerve.
Yes, you did. I was going to put the other fan on the back for you,
It's alright, I'm over here.
So,
What?
John says, but remember, I'm only a truck driver, I'm not too smart.
Oh,
I'm pretty
that's
sure
alright,
there's some
mate.
smart truck drivers out there
Yeah, no,
that
I've
probably shouldn't
worked.
be driving the trucks, but they like it.
I've worked with the likes of Coles and Metcash Food and Grocery, Asahi. My background is retail and sales. PCs has always been a side project for me. It's always just been I've built PCs for my friends and family, but then when COVID started, demand just spiked and I was just like, maybe this is the time to give this a go. Got that Leon Lee fan there on the back. Got some cables back here to untie. Yeah. Hey Pete, how you going? Good to have you with us. YouTube's been a bit quiet for me like the last week or so I don't know what's going on there. I might have to make some more content and shit. Just didn't get anything extra done this weekend because I had the second COVID vaccine and fucked me up, eh? Yeah. I fell asleep in my chair. I couldn't believe it.
Wake up on the floor.
And I don't drink, so it's not like I was waking up like still drunk and like passed out or anything like that. So tie those cables at the top down there. We've got our standard ones here, and then we've got this triple fan splitter and triple RGB splitter. So we'll be able to utilize them. Go ahead and put our power supply in. So we've got this cable here.
John says he didn't have a problem with both the COVID jabs. It was all good.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I thought I'd be.
It's all up to each person, really, on how they react. Some are slight, some are like. Extreme,
I was fine for the first one, and
Yeah.
the second one I was fine on the first day. Then the next day I woke up really fucking tired and shit. I was like, oh fuck. And then the same thing happened to Christine, and we were like, oh, this has got to be as a result of that.
Yeah.
And we were just like, had no energy and stuff. Like
Could not.
I had to go downstairs and come back upstairs a couple of times, and then I sat down like, I'm fucked. It's just like this is not a normal level of energy for me. I'm not that unfit that I can't make it up and down the stairs and shit. I'm not at that level yet. I'm sure we'll get there eventually. Everyone does, right? Yeah. So this has got a 10700f and an RTX 3060ti, plus some RGB cable extensions, white power supply with white cables and stuff. So it's going to be a very, very bright white looking build. So we'll set it with some.
Halloween Eve, it's ghost looking.
Yeah, we'll set up. we'll set some nice Halloween theme RGB lighting on it as well. Oh, actually, what are we doing? Oh no, this has already got black screws on it. I can't get rid of all the black. I usually try to use all silver screws on
This one's
white
black
builds.
and white, so it's kind of like mine.
Yeah, it's got some black on it that's going to be unavoidable. It's got black rivets on it. If it had silver rivets, I'd go and put silver bolts in it just so it matches. It's one of like the little things that I do in my builds that, like, yeah, it's not standard. Yeah.
What's that CPU equivalent to
In Ryzen, it's roughly, in terms of roughly equivalent, I would say probably 3700X. It's below the performance of the 5000 series SKUs by a fraction, but that's a generational improvement there. From it's sort of apples and oranges to compare, really. So Intel are about to launch their new generation next week, so we'll have a look at what Intel's next real step up, because 11th gen wasn't really 11th gen, it was just a refresh of 10th gen. They got a new CEO, and what it seems like to me is the new CEO is an actual like engineer. He's actually an Intel veteran who spent 30 years with the company leading their engineering and product development teams. And so he's come back out of retirement, obviously, for an awesome salary to lead Intel. And he took over, and then basically a couple of months after he took over, they were like, yep, 11th gen is launching at the start of the year, and then at the end of the year we're releasing 12th gen. So it's almost like he took over and was like, nah, we're skipping ahead, that is shit. We've done a bit of work, let's just release it, get rid of it, and we're gonna focus on 12th gen from here on in. So that's what it seems like to me, because why would they release 2 generations in a year? Like, anyway. So we got everything in the case there now, so we can get the motherboard in place. Oh, hang on, there's a hard drive. So we've just got some hard drive trays here, and they should slide apart. Yes. These ones here, babe, in the Cooler Master cases, they have hard drive trays. Just push a little button and it slides apart, and then you just clip them back and put a bolt in. Yeah, Cooler Master is a good brand of PC cases and stuff. They make decent cases. They make a lot of cheaper ones as well, but they make some really nice cases as well on their high end. So I think some people look at the brand Cooler Master and they think it's like necessarily a cheap brand, when it's not really like that. In fact, Cooler Master, the company, is one of the couple of companies that actually produce all-in-one liquid coolers. They actually manufacture them. So Cooler Master is one of the companies that other companies like, I don't know whether Leon Lee's coolers are made by Acertech or Cooler Master, but they're made by one of the two. And yeah, basically that Cooler Master is like a sophisticated company. They make a lot of cheap stuff because they understand that the market demands lots of cheap stuff, so they're known for those products. But you can get like $600-$700 Cooler Master cases. They have some really high-end shit as well. Yeah. Yeah, this one is going to look sweet. Alrighty, let's put that hard drive in place. There we go. Okay, and case bolt configuration. We do have that one extra sneaky bolt because it's ASRock. Go. And I don't think we're going to have to run any cables behind the motherboard here because we've got a full-size ATX board in an ATX case, so we should just be able to go and tighten this all down. Maybe No. It's going up the top. It's just sitting there temporarily while I tighten these bolts up. Big cat. He's big and he's large.
He's smelling the water.
Alrighty. Was there only one CPU cable?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's not two. Yeah,
No.
that's alright. It would make absolutely zero difference in this configuration. It's because the 11900Ks can use up to 300 watts because it's so ridiculously overpowered.
Yeah.
Why the fuck do you have to ask us for tobacco when it... Yeah. You got your own fucking money. Ask her why you're giving her some when I left her with $400 this week. 400.
There's literally nowhere to buy tobacco where you dropped it. You can't buy tobacco at Aldi.
Bought some at the bottle oak.
Oh, that's
She
right.
loves-
They
she
do
loves,
sell-
she loves going in there.
Yeah, I know. I think she went there before anything else. To be honest.
Probably. Now I'm going to plug in to this one over here because I'm going to be able to conceal that nicely with the RGB cable. So we're going to plug in that 1 to 3 splitter onto the CPU specific fan header. And then as for everything else, what have we got? 4 plus this cable. Okay. Okay, what am I going to do? I don't really want some more 3 pins with Molex, because that's not 3 pins with Molex. No. What am I going to do? I might just plug in a fan controller. That might be the easy way of doing things. Alright, so that's going to get unplugged from there. We're going to plug the pump into the CPU header, and then we're going to set the CPU header to run in DC mode so that our pump is powered correctly. And then we're going to add this little fan hub and tape off it, plug that in just there. There we go, we've got a little 6-device fan hub there. Rgb. Yeah. What's that? Sorry?
John says, give them nothing, fuck off, will ya? Someone says, I see you got the zip pay now, Tim.
Yeah, I've always had zip pay. So yeah, the whole time I've had the page, I've had zip pay. That was one of the first things that I did. I was like, well, how is this different to me just selling people PCs casually? I've got to do something that's a bit more business-like, right?
Tim.
Yeah.
Anthony on YouTube says hi.
Hey Anthony, how you going? Okay, so we've actually plugged in everything that we need to plug in around the front there. So all we've got left is these cables here, but we're going to be plugging them into these. I'm going to need a SATA cable. Plug a couple of SATA cables in. Got our front panel connections in. We don't have any USB 2 that we need to connect. There's no USB 2 devices required here. Alright, so Oh, empty, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
a couple of them got stuff in it.
Like, oh yeah, some of them do, but like in general, yeah, they're empty. I don't. From an economic point of view, if you like sit on stock like that, you're just gonna lose all your money, because in this industry, new stuff gets released all the time, so prices are constantly in flux. If you come in here going, oh, I'm gonna buy up on 6 months worth of stuff and save all this money, you're probably gonna go broke. Unless you know exactly to the unit how much you're gonna sell. Ideally, you want to have a short term stock on hand model. You really should. So when I worked at a job in purchasing and stock control for Metcash Food and Grocery, and so we had what we called aged stock. So the idea was no stock that came in for certain categories and certain products could be in the warehouse for a certain amount of time, and if it was, you as a purchasing officer had to put out a please explain and explain exactly why that stock is still there. So it's, yeah, basically, like, things change all the time. As soon as something new comes out, that changes the demand for products, and that's the problem. So you can be like, oh yeah, I know the demand, I know how many of these I'm going to sell, but then something new drops out, and then there's some price changes, and then the demand shifts, and now everyone wants this. So I work with a model where the only things that I buy up on, sorry, I'm trying to answer the question. She's getting frustrated because I keep talking and she's trying to point out that someone's commenting. So the only sort of things that I buy up on are fans, cases, hard drives and RAM. Hard drives and RAM, they go on more broad price cycles because consumers aren't the primary consumer of that product. Most of the market for storage and memory is actually from the commercial industry. So big players, like when big companies and stuff, they do all their purchasing for upgrades and new parts, they do it in cycles. So there is a cycle in terms of demand for these products where RAM and SSDs and hard drives, they go up and they're down, up and they're down, up and they're down. So you can be smart and understand where you are along that price cycle, and you can purchase up there. But CPUs, motherboards, coolers probably okay as well. Another one that you can do. But yeah, like I said, it's not as simple as just, yeah, you just go, if you want to do PCs, you just buy up a heap of PC parts and start selling. It's just, yeah, bad. You're gonna have a bad time. I swear that's like how a lot of small places fail at first.
Someone says you're doing well building a PC while listening to that music.
It's slightly distracting for me. I'll say that, but
James says, oh yeah, makes sense.
yeah. Yeah, there's like a fair bit to it. You've just got to know the products that you're selling. You've got to understand those cycles and all that. You need to know what cheap looks like for certain things, and then you need to know which things are best just sort of, buying at reasonable prices as you need them, that sort of thing. Because if not, if I bought up on stuff because I do all custom, that wouldn't work out for me anyway, because every customer can choose whatever parts they want for their build. I'll only protest if there's a problem. So, alright. Oh man, but the thing is, from the whole time that 30 series was launched, it was impossible to like go down to Umart and go, hey man, I'll just grab 20 of those 3080s please. You could never do that. There was always quantity limits in place. So they knew before it all started the potential for scalpers and stuff like that. So all the major retailers had quantity limits in place. But yes, if I could have got a container of them, I would. Absolutely. Who wouldn't? Is it repeating?
Yeah, I think so.
Because I swear I've heard this one before. Yeah, so do I. Okay. So I've got most things sorted out the back here. Let's get this radiator in place. Yeah.
John says I need to upgrade my graphics card prices at
Yeah. What have you got? What have you got currently? Oh. Yeah.
John says Nvidia GTX 1060 6 GB.
Oh man, yeah, you need an upgrade. Ideally, man, from where you are, the best bang for your buck right now would be 3060 Ti. That's going to be quite a considerable step up in performance. So yeah, you're going to spend like $1,200-1,300, but you're going to get $1,200-1,300 worth of extra performance on top of that 1060, in my opinion. You know, just check out. We'll check out this card that we've got here for this build. Check out the performance. So like, you might just download Heaven Valley and Superposition, run them on yours, at the same settings that I run this computer on the stress test, and you'll get roughly what your performance is going to be like. What's wrong? What's wrong? Alrighty, that's coming along out there. Sweet as. So I might go and put this one in place. So these look really cool, these addressable RGB cable extenders. Yeah. So like the thing is right now you could get like RTX 3060, but 3060 is really just a refresh of the 3020. Sorry, the 2060 rather.
3020.
3020.
What the hell was that?
It's a non-existent card that just came out of my ass. So, and the problem with that is the 1060 and 2060 are yeah, they're not. It's a bit of a step up between 1060 and 2060, but yeah, the thing is, it's not. If I was gonna spend $900 on a 2060 or $1,100 on a 3060, then I'd just go, fuck it, I'm just gonna go and get the next level up in performance, which is 3060 Ti, because that's a totally different GPU than what's on the 3060. 3060 Ti has the same GPU as the 3070 and 3070 Ti, but it's at way cheaper prices. So that's what you want.
John says that a good place to buy one. What do you recommend?
Yeah, ZipPay can be helpful. I mean, I'll sell you one, but you can also get them from like any of your favorite online retailers. Yep. Hey man, how you going? Good to have you here. Okay. So we might go and tackle this RGB. that's just all generic controllers. So this box is full of generic RGB controllers. Serious? Yeah.
That box has shit in it.
Yeah, so some of them do, but yeah, most of what's up there is just empty boxes for show. Most places that you see online that have all this stuff in the background, it will just be boxes that they've used previously for the reason that I stated before about buying up on parts and stuff. You can do it, but you need a very aggressive sales plan for that. Yeah.
Stu wants to know what's built tonight.
So this is a 10700f with an RTX 3060ti. I'm gonna need a splitter. Actually, why don't I use this? Why don't I use this Cooler Master RGB controller? It's magnetic. $200 brand new RTX 3060 Gaming Z Trio.
3080.
3080? What? Have you heard of like the concept of if something's too good to be true, that it is too good to be true? Because there's absolutely no way that a new, completely legitimate, all above board RTX. It's 12 times that cost at Scorptech, Umart, PC Case Gear. There's no cheap, it's not like, there's no cheap source, okay? So I would be very, very skeptical on a $200 3080. Like, let's be real here. If I could get, if people could get $200 3080s, then no one would buy them for $2,000+. The only way you're getting a $200 3080 is if it's a clapped out mining card.
Let us know where you got it
You probably got a clapped out mining card with a new cooler and covering on it in a new box or something. It's a scam, basically. There's no $200 3080s, man. I'm really sorry. I'd be very concerned about a RTX 3080 being sold for $200 in this market.
Yeah, no.
Like,
So no. I think you might have got ripped off.
yeah. Because it doesn't make any sense for someone selling that product to sell it for less than $1,000. I mean, even if they got it for like $150, you'd still sell it for $1,000+ because this is how economics works. Supply and demand. People sell things for what they think they can sell it for, not what it's worth to them. I'm not too concerned about photos, man. I'm just concerned about what the actual performance will be, because I really don't believe that that's legitimate in this market, because that's just insanity. Absolute insanity. You don't clear stock by buying it less than what you would have purchased it for. And I know this because I know what the regional distributors are selling them for in US dollars and stuff like that. So the prices are coming from the AIBs. It's not Nvidia, and it's not the retailers or even like wholesalers and stuff. It's not them. It's coming from regional distributors and the AIBs, which are the people who make the cards, like Gigabyte, etc. They're the ones that have basically led to the price increase that we've seen. Yeah, the only thing I'd be worried about is, the only thing I'd be looking for rather, is the performance. It's the only thing and whether, you know, if I went into an app like CPU-Z, whether it'd recognize it as an actual 3080 GPU and not a fake. Because you're aware that fake GPUs and fake graphics cards are a thing, right? Like that's something people do. They make it so it shows up in Windows and Device Manager as whatever colour, but it will actually be some other GPU or a complete fabricated false GPU. And you can use software to determine that. I'm just plugging in RGB stuff. I'm using this Cooler Master controller, so we can keep most of the cables out the back here. Yeah.
Just worked out my PC was 7 or 8 years old. Fuck me.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's good when you can build a PC and still own it 6 to 8 years later. Really, at the end of the day, that's pretty good. pretty happy with that. Okay, so got everything plugged in around the back. It's still a little bit messy there, but we'll try and do something with that. That's why we have a back panel, because it's a lot of cabling when we have a lot of RGB. So let's get the graphics card in place. Yeah, yeah. Yep.
Says live dubbing installed 3 RGB fans, and that was yesterday. She is a Harvey Norman special.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, well, Harvey Norman have some, they've got like some terrible pre-builds, and then they've got like some like half decent ones. Oh shit, that was slots 2 and 3 here, not 1 and 2. It's not a white graphics card, but it's got a lot of grey on it, so it fits in nicely with this build. And then for our RGB cable extenders, we're gonna run 2, but there's only technically, oh, that connector's in the way there. Oh, I was gonna say I'll be able to put 2 in and it will look normal. Damn. I was gonna make it look like there was 2 plugged into it, but there's a connector in the way. Yeah.
Andy wants to know, did you still follow up on the build you did a couple of days ago?
No.
One with the 6600?
Yeah, the one where the mic wasn't charged. I had it plugged in, but it didn't want to charge. Like, you know, sometimes you plug in a device to charge, and for whatever reason, it just doesn't charge. Well, that happened there, so it kind of screwed everything up. So yeah, we'll do a follow-up on that with some sound and testing it and stuff. But yeah, it's a pretty good rig, man. I'd recommend the 6600 for anyone on a budget. There is one thing with this controller that I'm going to have to do something about. It has its SATA power input, so I have to plug a SATA cable directly into it. Goody. Just what I want to do, rewire all my stuff after I've already done it. Yeah.
This has got 1800 credit with half million, so got the Infinity with 3060 Ti. It's great, except the case is bad, but ventilation, so just got a new case, radiator. Couldn't finish the RAS since my board was missing the two brackets where the CPU goes, so just waiting for the two brackets to come in hopefully this week.
Oh, yep. Okay. Change this one as well. Love it. Okay, that is one functional rig. Well, I think it's functional. We just have to test it out and see. Cackling.
No, that was a crow.
No, it's her cackling.
That was a crow on the music too.
Hearing things, babe.
No, I'm not. You are.
Listen to that.
Excuse me. That was the music.
That's the music.
There's a crow in the music that sounds like her.
I'm waiting to hear it again. See if you're right. Okay. Do you want to do the honors? Okay, I'm pretty sure I have a BIOS update for this. Sure do. Looks pretty awesome, but let's chuck a 2-pack of these strips in because she's not getting this other cable extender. She doesn't need that, so. What do you reckon? Obviously one around along the bottom. Okay. So we had a couple of other things to do in here. So we have, where's our fan tool? Okay. Hurry up.
That was her this time.
No, it was her the last time as
No,
well.
it wasn't.
It was. It fucking was. I know what I heard. There's a cackle. I know that cackle. I hear it. It's like the cry of a baby. It's at the right frequency for my ears. She cackles.
I'm sorry. I know she does. She sounds like a witch. Or a hyena or something. Cody says, I'll tell her.
pulse width, pulse width. Sweet as. That all looks pretty good. A little bit of stuff to change there. But we want to make sure the pump on our cooler is running in DC mode. So we can now plug in our SATA SSD. Sorry, not SATA SSD, SATA hard drive.
The RGB strip isn't working.
Yeah, they're not plugged in yet.
Oh,
Yeah, I know. There we go. See how much better does that look with all the yeah, you should zoom in on it. Jeez. So fortunately we don't live in the United States. They've got some stuff to work out before you want to live there. More cackles. Sorry, we're just paying out on the mother-in-law. She's an alcoholic and we try to keep the alcohol away from her, but sometimes you can't. She's an adult, you know. There's only so much control that you can impose. A lot of cables in the bottom there. No, I might have to play around with this a little bit. Okay, so we are now in Windows. Oh, must have entered the product key wrong. Okay. Oh no, look, it's gone away now. Yeah, there you go. Just took a while. I'm like, I'm sure I entered the right key there. Yeah.
Okay, this is something I'm going to jump off now. This is happy night. All the best, mate.
Hey Kobe, cheers for that, mate.
Have a good night.
Have a good night. There's that graphics card driver, I think. Ugh. Okay, let's jump over here. Oh, wrong SSD. Put down some custom desktop icons here. Got a WD drive, so we'll install Acronis True Image. Install ASRock App Shop. Alright, so we're going to get all of these updates just out of the way now. 'Cause I'm hungry and want to make a sandwich. Alrighty, so that's gonna do its thing for a little bit. I'm just gonna, so I'm gonna have to use some cable ties back here just to tie everything down. we should be nearly done. Oh, what happened there? Shit. Closure came apart. Why is it taking so long to boot? That's really strange. That's really slow. Like what is going on there? Okay, well, I don't know why it was taking so long to load Windows. No IQ. Okay, all good. Let's set up MSI Afterburner. So if you wonder what I'm doing here, this is the stuff I want to see in the on-screen overlay. And these are the controls to turn it on and off. Turn show own statistics on, so as a frame counter. And we're good to go. Alright, that's everything we'll install. it's done. So we'll enable momentum caching. That's better. Much better. Okay. So here it is. So we'll open up hardware monitor. Minimum's down at 27 degrees, 26 degrees. That's icy cold. So 10700f, our Z590 Steel Legend, our 3060 Ti, there we go. So where does 10700F sit in comparison to other CPUs? So sorry about these ads. That's it there at 544. This is the list of CPUs in terms of their single core performance. So it's up there. And there's all this below it. So it's right up there. It's one of the fastest ones. And if we look at multi-thread, you can see it sits there in terms of other 8-core CPUs. And it's better than all these ones. As you can see, the difference between that and the top SKU is a lot less than the difference between that and the bottom SKU. And so our storage devices, brand new, 500GB NVMe SSD with 100% health. And our new 1TB 7200 RPM hard drive. Oh, you can see that, 7200 RPM. So they go 30% faster than the 5400 RPM. Now SSD speeds, we can have a look at that. Got a crucial drive with momentum caching enabled. So we'll start that up. And we might run a gaming benchmark. So I'll run Heaven here on the out of the box settings. Alrighty, that was heaven. We'll run Valley, but we'll check out how our SSD speeds are. Yep, that's looking like it should. So we'll go Ultra with max anti-aliasing. 4K one, and then we will do our stress test. We haven't even hit 60 degrees yet on the CPU. Okay, so that was the final one there. Oh, I have to enable our XMP for our memory. I forgot to do that. Let's turn off all this annoying shit that starts up automatically. I hate that, and I'm assuming other people hate it as well. That can stay, OneDrive can stay. There we go. Alrighty, so we're going to do a 90-minute stress test here. And I always give a quick explanation. So I open up Task Manager, so we'll get that started. Okay, so what we're looking at here my live video will be removed if I'm broadcasting music that I don't have permission to, but we are meant to have permission to do this. Oi, babe. Matching content detected.
But the YouTube stream that it's coming from says that there's...
It can be rebroadcasted.
Yeah. And there's a link to send URL.
Well, that's fucking shit. Well, anyway, I'm just about to end it anyway. Hopefully it doesn't get removed, because apparently we had permission to do that. We wouldn't have done it if we didn't have permission. Alrighty, so what we're doing right now is we're stressing the CPU. We can see... Sorry. We can see here in Task Manager we've got our 8 cores and 8 threads. And 16 threads rather, and we've got 16 boxes rather, building this image here. So that's what all of our CPU cores and threads are working on, and we're also essentially running a 3D game in the background here while we're doing it. And so if the computer doesn't overheat under these conditions, it's not going to overheat while the customer's using it. So very, very safe. And yeah, not sure what the deal was with the music there. It just came up with a warning at the end. Yeah, John. Yeah, it seems like it. What's your experience, mate? Are they actually going to remove my video if that warning came up? Is it like a guaranteed thing? Because it's usually how Facebook works. Like, there's no way to dispute it or anything like that. I mean, I don't usually rebroadcast music or anything like that during my streams. It was just Christine decided to do something different tonight for Halloween. I thought it was pretty cool. But yeah, so yeah, I'll just leave it open to everyone. If you've got any other final comments for me, chime in, because I just let this run for 90 minutes now and it gets a bit boring. Yeah, I'd like to dispute it, because that's bullshit. That's not right. Like, I was just rebroadcasting something, so it wasn't like I'm playing something from my computer that I don't have permission to play. It was something that was in the description, said use this to rebroadcast. So it's probably some automatic algorithm that's heard the music or something like that. I don't know. We'll do something. Anyway, I'll just wait for a couple more minutes, see if anyone's got any other final questions for me before I go. But all in all, this build came up looking pretty good, I reckon. It's a beacon of light. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm just like, oh shit, I hope it doesn't get deleted before the customer sees this, because I don't think she was here for the stream tonight. So, that's all good. Anyway, I might finish it up now, so thanks everyone for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you all, not tomorrow, but on Tuesday in the next video.